folks. Thought I would jump on and talk about centering prayer, and specifically the sacred word in centering prayer. So I hope you can see me, hope you can hear me. We're going to talk about the sacred word in centering prayer. Now remember, we use this to open to the presence and actions of God within. We use it as we start centering prayer, and then we use it whenever we engage our thoughts during centering prayer. And what do I mean by that? We begin daydreaming. We think about a future event we need to handle. We think about our shopping list that we're going to do after our centering prayer set. Or we think about the past. We think about things we did or said and maybe wish we had done differently. So whenever we find that we engage our thoughts, we use our sacred word to return to the present and open to the actions and presence of God within. Also, the sacred word, it's called sacred word, but you can use really a couple different things to return to the present moment. You can use your breath. Some people are physical people, so they use their breath. They're more comfortable with that. Some people use a word. They're auditory people. And you'll want to use a short syllable, 1 or 2 syllable word. Love, Jesus, ocean, peace. Some people use an interior image. And some people use a glance. And what I mean by that is a lot of the breath, the word, the image can all be used primarily with your eyes closed. But some people practice with their eyes open and they glance. They stare at a spot straight ahead. So when I think about my practice, I started with a word, and I think I had Jesus, and I think I had love, and then I realized that I am a visual person, not an auditory person. I like to see things. So I shifted to an icon, a Jesus icon, that I have seen in a Richard Rohr daily meditation, and that kind of stuck. Now I don't draw it out in my head when I need it, but I interiorly think or image this icon to bring me back to the presence. So that's what I found. So if you're struggling with your practice, perhaps you need to change your sacred word. So if you're auditory, try a word. If you're a visual person, use an interior image. If you're a physical person, use your breath, for example. And then a couple things about the sacred word. It's not a mantra. So Christian meditation, I guess, uses an interior mantra as part of their practice. But with centering prayer, the sacred word is not a mantra. You're not repeating it over and over again interiorly. You're really just using it when you find that you engage your thoughts or your emotions. It's also not a bat or a racket. You're not swatting away or slugging away these thoughts. You're using this sacred word to ever so gently let go of your thoughts and come back to the present and the present and actions of God within. So again, you're just using it when you need to, when you find that you're engaging your thoughts. You might find that you don't need it. Sometimes you naturally bring yourself back, and that's okay too. So only use it when you find that you need it. Don't judge your sits. If you have to use your sacred word frequently, that's okay. If you don't have to use it frequently or very minimally, that's okay too. Don't judge your sits. The main purpose is just to sit with God and open to the presence and actions of God within. So don't judge your sits. Don't think just because you had to use your sacred word frequently that you have failed at centering prayer. If you show up, you've successfully done centering prayer. I mean, if you think about it, God, and I believe God is praying in us during our centering prayer sits. God only needs a nanosecond to pray in you. And I think God is either praying in us actions that he wants us to take that very day, or he's even just praying in us what we need, which might be peace or confidence or wisdom or some type of feeling that he knows we need at this very moment. Another thing I'll say about the sacred word is Don't change it during the prayer time. Use the same method during the prayer time. It'll become too confusing. So definitely use the same method during the same prayer time. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're finding that you need to switch your word, or you need to switch from a word to an image, do it during your next sit. And then I also mentioned sometimes you don't need it, and that happens with me too. Sometimes I naturally come back to the present without using the sacred word. And then another neat thing about the sacred word is you can use it outside of your centering prayer time. Now, this letting go that we do during centering prayer isn't meant to be confined to just centering prayer. We need to let go during our ordinary life. So as things happen to you and you become anxious or worried as you're doing an important task in your life, let go of these feelings and open to the task. So again, it's not meant to be used just during centering prayer. For example, I kind of use a modified version of the sacred word, but I repeat it interiorly, Jesus. I'll say it in pairs, but I'm not speaking it. I'm interiorly thinking it, and I'll think Jesus, 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 Jesus. So I'll do 3 repetitions of that in my mind if I'm finding I'm anxious or I'm worried. And that kind of calms me, slows me down, and brings me back to the present moment so that I can do the task at hand. So that's all. I just wanted to pop on, talk about the sacred word, talk about the different types of sacred words that you can have, and then talk about the fact that the sacred word can be used outside of centering prayer, just to let go to life and things that you're thinking that you need to let go. A lot of times in our everyday life, we're thinking thoughts that are just not true. We're not in the present moment. We're either in the past, thinking about things we've done, or we're thinking about the future and what we need to do, when instead we need to be living in the present moment and the very task right in front of us. So thanks for popping on and listening to me. If you have any questions or need some help with your practice or with the sacred word, feel free to reach out to me. Take care, everybody.